So welcome back to the studio. This is Lagos Talks 91.3 FM, and my name is Oluwakayode. The program is The Conversation. And on today's edition of The Conversation, we're talking security. We have two layers. First of all, we're bringing to you somebody from civil society organization or sector. And like we all know, many times when we talk of insecurity, we often look at the military casualties and the unnamed casualties. We introduce tribes and religions and other nuances that make us justify the killing in our subconscious, though we do not really agree that we justify the killings. But it's the military, so we just move on. They are the ones spoiling the country. But is that what it should be? We're often insensitive and biased. These killings have been going on for so long, sadly, currently escalating, and we feel less safe. While the military offensive is ongoing, let's look at this war or battle or whatever name we choose to call it, and from another perspective. Let's do an appraisal of what is currently going on. And to do that, we have a member of the civil society who has been involved in monitoring the security activities in Nigeria. She has a bird's eye view of our current situation, and today we would like to know what they have been saying to the powers that be on how to resolve and prevent a total security blackout. Bridget Osakwe, welcome to the studio. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Great. And Bridget is the National Network Coordinator for West Africa Network for Peacebuilding. I'm sure when it comes to peace building and the nation that needs it the most, Nigeria will be amongst the top two in West Africa, considering Nigeria or Niger and Mali. How do we rank in terms of insecurity in West Africa?
Thank you. Good question. If we have to put on indices, we are not ranking very well at all. Actually, we are ranking below. And for us at ONEP, we are looking at human security in totality. It's not just the attacks that we see, the physical attacks that we see. And for me, for our conversation today, I have decided to take it in 4 pillars.
Okay.
I'm looking at it from political insecurity, economic insecurity, social insecurity, environmental insecurity. And when we place this one, I decided to put health, education under social insecurity. So if we want to use these as our indicators for this conversation, you can see that we are rating very, very below.
All right. And when it comes to political, economic, social, and environmental insecurity, where are we lagging behind the most?
I would say that it is social.
How is that and why is that?
I would say social because social takes care of health, education. Under health, you see the ASU lingering crisis and the youth that are at home. That if you look at it again, the implication to insecurity, the implication to political violence. If we look at health, how are we managing the health sector? How are we managing emergencies in both our public institutions and our private institutions? So, and if you look at it critically again under health, food. I saw a prediction the other day when somebody was saying another 2 years we will be having famine. And we do know the disaster, the risk of famine to our population. So for me, I will take social first.
All right, so let's look at this. Because of we delving into this, we started this interview a bit late due to connectivity issues, which might be another insecurity we might need to look at later on. But looking at where we are now, we've heard of the threat to the president, we've heard of threat to life, and people not being able to travel as easily or as frequently as they wish they could. But from your analysis, driving this issue of threat home, how unsafe or safe is Nigeria today?
Of course, Nigeria is very unsafe. It's very unsafe if we take it from the example of traveling. We are not able to travel by road. The roads are not good. We are afraid of kidnappers. We are afraid of armed robbery. We are afraid of attacks, banditry attacks, and all that. And so, I am not saying any part that is safe. If we're traveling by air, we have seen where an airline has been suspended. I just traveled and I said, this airline that I traveled with will be the next one to be suspended because I had my heart on my way in that trip. And we have the issue of aviation fuel, aviation scarcity, that I had to arrive at my destination at 2 a.m. for a flight of 6 p.m.
Wow.
So, for me, it is all round. We are not safe.
All right, so let's look at this now. You deal with issues around Nigeria and beyond, most importantly, the West Africa region and the likes. What is the global perception of Nigeria's security state?
The early warning system of the ECOWAS and the AU
yes,
is being managed by ONEP. And
okay.
How this happens is that in Nigeria we have monitors at the grassroots who monitor on an hourly basis, feed into our system, which we in turn feed into this regional system. I'm bringing this perspective to tell you that every minute we have information on what is going on, which informs health of state to make their decisions. And what we get is that there's no part of Nigeria that is safe from the early warning system. And the analysis are very, very broad and tells us that urgent actions need to be done.
So from your end, would you say the insecurity is underreported? Of
course, insecurity is underreported because people are looking at insecurity from physical insecurity. Okay. And insecurity goes beyond that. If we analyze it in human security, we will know that it's underreported.
So if you're painting the actual picture of insecurity in Nigeria today, what will it be in the books of ONEP?
In the books of ONEP, we have public weekly analysis and provide policy options. We highlight missed opportunities that people will be. I think that we should re-engineer our systems and structures in this country and begin to visit. Because what people are talking about insecurity, they say, okay, provide more military, provide more this thing. We have not recruited more security agencies. So if we say provide, where are we going to provide them from? It's a systemic and structural thing.
So from your end, how should we start the resolution strategy? If you were I'm sure you interface with different governmental agencies and the likes. What is the security advice you've given to resolve this? If you want to resolve this today, what are the first 2 or 3 things that government has to do?
Okay, I'm not a security expert and I'm not a member of the Security Council, but from my own little perspective, The internal security structure rests on the police. That's internal relations rest on the police. So, first of all, include more people into the police, credible people into the police. And it says that internal security operation says that if they are overwhelmed, you now add more army. When you increase the number of police, which we are already under the UN resolution, we are under police before this time. So increase the number of police, and then if we say that we are bringing the army to support, then increase the number of and train them accordingly.
What kind of training do they need?
Oh, we need training on human security, not state security, because state security means that protect state apparatus, but human security we protect the human beings, because as a country the government has a responsibility to protect, which they are failing on.
All right. You gather a lot of information, and of course you use this information to make the region and by extension the entire Africa safer. In Nigeria, where you are the national network coordinator, the information you gather and you share with government, are they being applied? Or do you even have a good relationship with the security apparatus or the executives or the politicians that matter who are decision makers, or government officials that are decision makers?
You know how these issues work with government bureaucracy is that we advise, we place our recommendation there, and it's left for them to use. In all honesty, in some of them they take, in some of them they do not take. But when they take, we do not hold fast to attrition. We are not saying that they should come back to say why not advise them. No, just take and begin to implement. So our own responsibility is continue to give them the information, give them the advice, and let them take to utilize in their own context and at their convenience anyway.
Okay. All right. I think this is where we'll draw the curtain on the interview. The discussion on insecurity continues. Moving forward right now, what are we to do as individuals, as citizens, first of all, and what should be the next steps government should take?
Okay. There's this question about government. And when we look at it, who is the government? So I think that as individuals, we should begin to look at ourselves, the place where we are in governance, and what we can do in this current situation that we have found ourselves. And we will not draw this curtain unless we talk about the place intersection of corruption in our social threat in this country. So let us examine where we are in our different corners and what will contribute to insecurity one way or the other, and how we think we can help in our own little corners.
All right. That response you gave begat another question, but we will not be able to take that now. Probably we'll have a part 2 and have 1 hour with you to look at insecurity, not from the tactical, combat aspects, but from the social, political, and economic and environmental aspects.